Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the green hills and the sparkling river, there lived a poor boy named Liang. He was kind-hearted and loved to draw. Every day he would pick up a stick and trace beautiful pictures in the sand, mountains, rivers, animals, and people. But when the wind blew, his drawings would vanish. Liang wished he could make real paintings, but he was too poor to buy a paintbrush or even a drop of ink. Despite his poverty, Liang was full of dreams. He believed that beauty lived everywhere in the rustle of the bamboo, the song of the birds, and the laughter of children playing in the fields. He wanted to capture that beauty and share it with the world. He helped the villagers with their work in exchange for old scraps of paper, and on them he drew with pieces of charcoal he found near the blacksmith's shop. Everyone admired his talent. One evening, when the golden light of sunset touched the roofs of the village, Liang sat under a tree, drawing a buffalo grazing in the field. His fingers were blackened with charcoal, and his eyes sparkled with focus. Suddenly, an old man in tattered robes appeared before him. His eyes were gentle but deep, like pools of wisdom. He watched Liang for a while and then asked, "Young boy, why are you drawing with charcoal when you have such skill?" Liang sighed. "Sir, I wish I had a paintbrush, but I am too poor to buy one." The old man smiled and took out a small wooden box. Inside it lay a paintbrush that glimmered faintly, as though made of moonlight and starlight woven together. "This is a special brush," said the old man. "It will bring your drawings to life, but remember, you must never use it for selfish reasons. Use it only to help others." Liang's eyes widened. "Really? A brush that can bring paintings to life?" The old man nodded. "Yes, but the power of this brush depends on your heart. A greedy heart will create trouble, but a kind heart will bring happiness." Before Liang could ask another question, the old man vanished into the air, leaving behind only the faint scent of pine and magic. That night, Liang returned home to his tiny hut. The moonlight fell through the cracks in his roof, and the magic brush shimmered softly on the table. Curious, Liang decided to test it. He dipped the brush in water and painted a small fish on the floor. To his astonishment, the fish began to wiggle, shimmer, and leap. It jumped from the floor into his bowl of water and swam happily. Liang gasped. "It's true." He painted a rooster next. The rooster flapped its wings and crowed so loudly that the neighbors heard it. Liang quickly drew a gate to keep it inside. He laughed with joy, realizing the gift he had been given. The next morning, the villagers came to see what the noise was about. Liang showed them his magic. He painted a plow for a poor farmer, and it became real, gleaming under the sun. He painted a bucket for an old woman, so she could carry water easily. For children, he painted toys that danced and sang. Everyone rejoiced and blessed him for his kindness, but not everyone was pleased. In a grand mansion near by lived a greedy landlord named Mr. Ho. He was rich but cruel, and he hated to see the poor happy. When he heard that a poor boy had a magic brush that could bring paintings to life, his eyes filled with greed. He sent his guards to bring Liang to his palace. Liang was frightened, but went along quietly. Mr. Ho sat on his golden chair and said, "So you are the boy with the magic brush. Paint something for me. Paint me a mountain of gold." Liang remembered the old man's warning. "I cannot use the brush for greed, sir. It is meant to help others, not to make gold." Mr. Ho's face turned red with anger. "How dare you disobey me?" he shouted. "If you don't paint what I say, I will lock you in the dungeon." But Liang remained firm. "I cannot. The brush will not work for selfish wishes." Furious, the landlord snatched the brush from Liang's hands. "If you won't paint, I will," he said. He ordered his servants to bring him a large sheet of silk. Then he dipped the brush in gold paint and drew piles of gold coins. But when he tried to touch them, they turned into rocks. He drew delicious food, but it became mud. He painted a grand palace, but it melted into nothing. The magic brush refused to obey him. Mr. Ho roared, "This brush is useless without you." He locked Liang in the dungeon and kept the brush under guard. That night, as the moon rose, the brush glowed faintly and floated out of the box by itself. It slipped through the bars of Liang's cell and landed in his hands. Liang smiled. "You came back to me, my friend." Using the brush, he painted a small door on the wall. The door shimmered and opened, leading him out into the night. Liang ran away into the mountains, carrying the magic brush safely with him. But Mr. Ho was determined to get it back. He sent soldiers to capture Liang. They chased him across fields, rivers, and hills until they found him by the seaside. The sea shimmered blue under the morning sun. Mr. Ho shouted, "Now paint me what I command, or I will throw you into the sea." Liang thought for a moment, then nodded. "Very well, sir. What do you wish for?" "Paint me a ship made of gold," demanded Mr. Ho. "I will sail it across the sea and become the richest man in the world." Liang began to paint. Stroke by stroke, a magnificent golden ship appeared, glistening under the sun. Mr. Ho's eyes widened with delight. "Finally, my dream is real," he cried, running aboard the ship with his soldiers and treasures. But Liang wasn't done. He painted strong waves beneath the ship, then dark clouds in the sky. The wind began to howl. Mr. Ho's laughter turned to fear. "What are you doing? Stop!" he shouted. Liang said calmly, "You wanted gold, sir. Now face the sea that carries it." He added a final stroke, a mighty wave, and the ship was swallowed by the roaring ocean. The waves crashed, and soon the sea was calm again. Mr. Ho and his greed were gone forever. Liang stood silently, watching the horizon. The magic brush glowed softly in his hand, as if approving of his choice. After that day, Liang continued to use his gift to help the poor. He painted tools for farmers, clothes for children, and bridges for travelers. Wherever he went, life flourished. His paintings became part of the world: trees that gave shade, wells that gave water, and birds that sang. Years passed, and Liang became known across the land as the boy with the heart of art. People from faraway places came to see him, not for gold or treasure, but for kindness and hope. He taught children to paint and told them, "Art is not just for beauty, it is for good." One spring morning, a little girl came running to him, crying, "Master Liang, our village is dry. The river has stopped flowing." Liang smiled gently, "Then we shall bring it back." He walked to the dry riverbed, dipped his brush into a jar of clear water, and began to paint. Blue streams flowed from his strokes, dancing along the ground until the river sprang to life again. The villagers cheered, filling their pots and laughing with joy. Flowers bloomed, fish swam, and the village lived once more. That night Liang sat under the stars, gazing at his magic brush. He whispered, "Thank you, old man, for trusting me with this gift. I have seen how greed destroys and how kindness heals." As he spoke, the brush shimmered and slowly lifted from his hand. A soft voice echoed in the breeze, the same gentle tone as the old man's. "You have fulfilled your duty, Liang. You painted not just with colors, but with compassion. The world no longer needs the brush's magic, for you have taught people that kindness itself is magic." The brush dissolved into starlight, rising toward the heavens until it disappeared. Liang felt no sorrow, only peace. He knew that the magic now lived in every heart that chose to create for good. Years later, when Liang was old and his hair had turned white as snow, children often came to him and asked, "Master, tell us the story of the magic brush. He would smile and reply, "The brush was only a tool. The real magic lies in the heart that uses it. If your heart is kind and your purpose true, even a simple stick can create wonders." And so, even after Liang's time, the legend of the magic paintbrush spread across villages and generations. Artists painted not for wealth, but for the joy of creation and the good of others. Farmers painted rain to bless their crops. Children painted dreams to brighten their days, and the world, little by little, became more beautiful. One night, long after Liang's passing, villagers swore they saw a light in the sky shaped like a brush, leaving trails of color across the stars. Perhaps it was the old man's spirit painting the heavens, or maybe it was Liang himself, painting one last masterpiece for the world. Either way, the lesson remained timeless. True art, like true kindness, has no end. It lives on in every act of love, every selfless creation, and every dream painted with a pure heart. And so, the story of the magic paintbrush reminds all who hear it that the greatest masterpiece is not painted on paper, but in the lives we touch.